I've got this 1500, and it's got a stuck football, and it's overflowing out the overflow tube. And I've got a broken T down here on the inside. You can't see this because I can't get enough light down in there. But there's a broken T down in here. So it when I start it up, it starts flowing out that T down onto the top of the engine rather than out the overflow tube. So I have taken the tube off of the overflow on this side. This is the side that I found the football is stuck on, and I've got that flowing down into a container here on the floor. And if I start this up, you'll see that I have flow coming out that tube. So it's just coming out this overflow. And so I'm going to try to break this loose by blowing a little compressed air. And I have this ultra duster that I use for electronics. And it's just compressed air in a canister, and I'm going to blow that up the overflow tube, and I'll see if that won't break loose what's keeping that float stuck. So I can't do this while I'm holding the camera, but I'm basically going to stick this through the tube here and plug it with a rag and blow some air into the float bowl. And hopefully I won't blow any gaskets loose or anything inside the float bowl. There'll be enough release in there to let pressure off. And this doesn't have a lot of pressure in it. So hopefully I'll blow some dirt loose or something in that float. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I've just blown compressed air through the overflow tube, and it did relieve the pressure. It came back up through the carburetor here, so I don't think I damaged anything by doing that. And I'll turn on the ignition and start it up again. And we'll see if that stopped it from flowing. Nope, it didn't stop it from flowing. Still flowing. All right. I've tried to blow air through the overflow here to get the leak to stop, and that hasn't worked at all. I'm going to take the canister of air. It's just a small air duster that I use for electronics, and I'm going to blow it through the fuel line to get it up through the float bowl and try to blow any dust out of that or not. So I'll try to blow that out and see what happens. Okay, so I've blown it out, and we'll see if that, no, that didn't resolve it either. It continues to flow out. Nope, that didn't resolve that at all. So it looks like we're going to be pulling the carburetors off and pulling the float bowl apart on this particular side over here and getting a new needle jet in there. That's about all I can see to do from this point on. Okay, so I've got this float bowl that's stuck on this 1500 GL Goldwing, and I found out that it was coming from the left over here. I did that by removing the hose that was connected to this side and leaving the hose that's connected to this side over here for the overflow, leaving that connected, and then just connecting it up here with another hose that I've got running down to the ground here. And I put that in something, a catch basin, to catch the overflow. And I started up, and you can see that the hose starts to leak right there. So it is coming out of this side over here. It's where the flow is. Now I've tried blowing compressed air. It'll be later on in the video. This ultra duster, compressed air canister. Tried blowing that up the line here to try to blow out anything in the carburetor, and that was unsuccessful. I also took the fuel line off right here that supplies the fuel to the carburetor, and I blew air, compressed air, in through this line and then reconnected it, and that was unsuccessful as well. Another one of the things that you find online that to try to jar this loose is to take something, not a hammer. This is a hammer, but I'm not going to use the metal end because these are all just cast aluminum, but the wood end, and just kind of go around and tap on it and to try to break it loose. And I did that several times, and that also was not successful. So my next choice is I'm going to put this back together and take it into the shop, and they're going to have to rebuild this carburetor over here. I got a quote on that today, and this is July of 2019, and the cost to do that is about $700. That's not cheap. But I went online to see what it takes to remove these carburetors, and it's quite a bit of work, and I'm afraid I'll just damage something while I'm doing that and cause myself even more problem. So now I've got another issue here, in that down in here where this overflow tube and this overflow tube right here meet, there's a three-way T down here that goes into another tube then to go into the overflow, and that T down here, you can't see it, well, it's this T right here, that T is broken, and so what that causes is if I were to reconnect this back up and start it up, the fuel would just run out onto the top of the engine and not out the overflow because that T is broken. I don't want to do that. I'm going to be starting this up to load it up onto a trailer to take it into the shop, and then starting it up to get it off the trailer and store it at the shop. I don't want gas going on the top of the engine. I'm afraid from the heat in the engine and everything else and spark, it may ignite and cause a fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this hose on, and I'll run it out the side of the engine, and then here on the end of the hose I'll just put a rubber band around a plastic bag and let it catch the fuel. I won't be running it that long, just enough to get it up onto the trailer and off the trailer. And then when it gets in the shop, they'll have to replace that T down in here, and have to put the hose back on like it was supposed to be after they get this fixed up. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I wish I could repair this myself, but I just don't have the confidence that I can get those carburetors off and get the carburetor repaired and get it back on without damaging something. I've already lost a couple of screws, and I'm just not that talented, I guess.